Hi, everybody. It's DearMamaSal, and we are live on a Friday evening, which means it's time for us to talk about coping with life. And for those of you who may be new to the broadcast, the way that we cope with life on a Friday evening is how can we make our dollars go a little bit farther? And so tonight, we're going to be making some crackers in order to save money. Now, it will take time, but as you will see, it's amazing how little you need to make crackers and how much time you really end up saving. And that is what I wanted to demonstrate to you. Hi there, Jody. Good to see you. For those of you who don't know, Jody is our admin, and she does a wonderful job of doing our research for us. When I'm halfway through doing something and somebody asks me a question, it's Jody that goes and finds the answer for me, and I will be forever grateful to you, Jody, for that alone, and a lot else as well. So I'm hoping that today will be fun. And I've got lots of choices, as you can see. Now, before I start, what I wanted to just show you is the reason why I'm going to be doing crackers. But then when we finish doing crackers, I'm also going to show you, hang on one second, how I make my own lip gloss. And I thought I would show you that because if you're trying to save money, these little things that can just make quite a bit of difference. Here's the first thing I wanted to tell you, and this is just Canadian dollars I'm talking about here. So if you're in the States, understand this might be slightly different where you live, but just to give you an idea. Melba Toast actually is really good bang for the buck if you buy a big box like this. And this big box, which has about 50 Melbas, small Melbas in it, cost me $5.39 Canadian. So that actually is quite a good deal. My go-to cracker, what's your go-to cracker? Let me know what your favorite cracker is. My go-to cracker is this one called Vinter. And it's the original one. They do make different sorts of them. I normally have about 5 of these most days, but they cost me $3.59 Canadian for 200. No, I can't do that in grams. You guys won't understand grams. But anyway, that many along there. Those are the ones that I really enjoy. Yes, Jody is saying she likes Townhouse or water crackers. I'm a big fan of Carr's water biscuits. I'm not getting paid by anybody for this, by the way. But again, these are $3.49, $3.50 for, that's quite expensive. I also try to eat more healthily and we'll have 7-grain honey oat, for example. But these are, how much are these? These cost about $4.59. And quite honestly, you don't get a whole lot. I think you get about 10 bars in it, 10 of these. Okay, but it's a nice snack. However, of all of them, this one has the most carbs and the most calories, just so that you know. So they are really nice and I enjoy them. But I thought we'd make some ourselves. What do you think? Now, I need you to know that what we're going to make, I have not bought anything for. What I want to show you is, this is, if you choose to, this is what you can do with leftovers. If you've got any. If you're like me, you've got a lot of them, all right? And so I'm going to put these away because we don't, although I've got them and they're in my storeroom for eating, I wanted to show you how easy they can be to make if you'd like to try it. So the first thing is, do you like your crackers sweet or savory. I know that there are different people, they like different ones. I actually like both. I like the savory ones if I want to have a quick snack during the day, and I like a sweet cracker in the evening. So I thought we'd do one of each. First things first, do any of you eat healthily in as much as you use almond flour rather than regular flour? And if you can afford to do that, I really recommend it, obviously. And I'm doing it because I'm trying to lower my carbs. And so, you could do what I'm doing with regular flour, but I'm going to use almond flour just because of it. Here are my choices. I can make crackers tonight out of almond flour, brown rice flour, oatmeal flour, or 5-grain granola flour. So that's as a base. Which one would you like me to start with? Speak now in a hurry, otherwise I'll make the decision. And what I want to show you is just really how simple all this is, if you want it to be. Anybody got a choice here? The 5-grain. Hi, Sharon. And Jody says maybe the almond flour. Okay, so how about the fact that this 5-grain has almond in it? So that's a good start. All right, so it'll be an almondy type one. And what I've got some dried cherries here. Okay, so I thought I would add that in there. How many of you are going, that sounds good already, so very simple. All I'm going to do is to take I can do this. I'm going to take my small magic bullet container. It doesn't matter what you've got. And the trick when you're doing this is don't make too much. You'll be surprised how far this goes. So I'm just going to load up with about a cup of this. Okay, so that's just a loose cup worth. And I'm just going to pulverize that into a flour. Just hold on one sec. Uh-oh. Forgot the cherries. Yum. But wait, before I do this, ever wondered what to do with those crumbly bits at the bottom of your cereal? This would be a good time. There we go. Oh. So this is just all dry stuff, agreed? And magically, we have got 5-grain almond cherry flour. What else do we throw in there? Oh, with some sweetener in there from the cereal. And now I'm going to throw in 1 egg. And that's a omega-3 egg. Now, owing to the fact that I am not somebody that measures, I just cook by everything. Now that I've mixed that all together, it still looks pretty wet. So I'm going to add in, how about some peanut butter, powdered peanut butter, because that sounds like a good idea right now. And I'm going to put in some. Let's see if that helps. And it does, because that's not mixing up anymore. Oh yeah, good. Okay, so I'm going to get a little bit of almond flour ready. In case it's too sticky. And I just want to mix that up. Might need a little bit more flour, but we'll see. This is going to get messy, so. Okay. We're just going to just add flour, just as much flour as we need until it holds together nicely. Just about there. That needs a little bit more. Okay, so here we have the first one. How difficult was that? And I need to put that somewhere so I know what it is. I'm just going to put it like this, and let's put a number on it. Jody, this, if you could just make a note, because I know I always forget which is which. This one is the 5-grain almond and cherry mix. All right? And let's get a number on it so we remember. Uh-huh. Just suddenly thought, rather than make Jody work hard, that's what we got, the 5-grain almond cherry. Now, I'm just going to cover that and put it in the fridge while we make the next one. And this one, let's make a savory one. Now, I'm pushing those little bits to the end, but I probably just include them in the next batch, because why not? All right, now again, so simple. Okay, I'm going to take 1 cup and this is brown rice. You can use regular rice if you want to, but I try to eat brown rice whenever I can. And so I'm going to take 1 cup of brown rice. By the way, I find, I don't know if you've noticed that, but quite often you'll see me, I've got some of this press and seal over my cereals. And that is, in case there's anything funny in there, I will know because it'll be stuck to the press and seal at the top. Does that make sense to anybody? I had it happen once where I had some rice or some flour or something, and it had weevils or something in it. And I just about freaked. But now I will know, I know before I even open it that there's a problem, because I will be able to see it on top here. How many of you are going, actually, that's quite smart, Sal. Believe you me, if you've ever had those things once, you don't want them a second time. Okay, so this is brown rice. And now, this is going to be really easy. I think some of you know that I keep my vegetables, you know, the ends of them, I'll show you in a second, and then I cut them up into small pieces and dehydrate them and then make my own vegetable seasoning. So this has got all sorts of good smelling stuff in it. So I'm going to put a good pinch of that in, because that's what we want. It does taste good. It smells good. I've got some dehydrated leeks from my garden. And if you don't know what leeks are like onion. So I'm going to put that in. And so we've used that and we've used that. Let's put those away. What do we think? Maybe some pepper and things. I'm thinking some basil for some reason. Put a little bit of basil in there and some lemongrass. This is just like, what have I got? How many of you have got more spices and things than you can shake a stick at? And about time you started using some of them up. Okay. So there we go. That's that and that. And what else have I got here? I think that will do for this one. All right. So as you can see, very simple. And I'm going to throw in an egg. Okay. Now, because I've got a lot of green stuff in here, this obviously is going to be a green type dough. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to press it together and see what else it needs. Now this is not binding as well. And that's because I forgot to grind up the rice first. So hang on a second. Let me put it in my serious one. Hold on one second. That's an oops moment for me. But that's okay. That's why we do these things, right? What do I need? Okay. Let me just pulverize this in my heavy duty one. See if that helps. It's noisy, so just bear with me. Okay, now this is going to be one of those things where I've got to go backwards to go forwards. I actually need to put more liquid in there so that it will grind it, and then we'll put more flour in. These things happen. That worked. Now I can also imagine in here, if you happen to have any lying around, but this would be a really good time to add things like nuts. If you've got sunflower seeds or something like that, that would be really good to add in. Now, as I said, it's going to look like a funny color, but we're not about color here. We're talking about, what is it we want this to do? We want this to use up stuff that we've got. Now, as I said, it's way more loose than we need it, but that doesn't matter because we'll just add flour until we get it working. I know what I'm looking for, but I don't know where I put it, so let's worry about it. Ah, there it is, right here. I was going to say my my dough thing would be perfect for this. So I'm going to add back these little bits that were here. And then we're going to, I think I'm going to add some little bit of regular flour. Oh no. What about some quinoa? Would that be a good thing to add? Pistachios would be nice, Sharon. Good idea. I'm thinking some quinoa would help here. Okay, that's helping a little bit. And what else can we put in there that's good for us? How about some chia? And some flax. What do you think? Healthy? Please notice that well-known measurement sum. And then I'm just going to keep folding it onto itself. And I'm going to add just a little bit of flour to it so that it will hold it together. Oh yeah, that's beginning to look right. And again, don't worry too much about the amounts of things. You can obviously add whatever you would like to add into it. Remembering what we're trying to do is to use up stuff that you have got lying around, but it's time for using it up. Yeah. So the rice flour, as you can see, just doesn't hold together as well as the granola flour, but just keep working with it until it holds together, which it will eventually do, hopefully. There we go. Now what I'm going to do with this, because of the consistency being that different, is I'm going to just grab some wrap and okay, so all I've done is make like a log from it, okay, like this. And I'm going to put it in the fridge, let it sort of absorb a little bit, and then we'll just cut it. So I hope you can see that, yeah, easy peasy, right? It's not what you call rocket science. But what I'm going to do now is give you some other options that we could have made, just so that, you know, you can sort of go, yeah, that would work. I was thinking, we've done the vegetable leek. I did have an idea to do coconut, cranberry, and almond with almond flour. Coconut and cranberry I thought would be a nice mix. We've done the flax, chia, rice. Oh, I know what I was going to add in there. Some cheese. That would be a good idea. Remind me when I get it out. I'm going to roll it in cheese powder. Yeah. All right. I also had, and I probably do this over the weekend, was thinking some oat, take some oats, rolled oats, and to pulverize them into a flour. And then I'm going to mix it. I've got some of this cinnamon and honey that's been around for a while, so I want to start using it up. But, just a teaspoon of that in with the oats would taste really good. And how about we throw some raisins in there? Be a good idea. I also was going to use the quinoa for quinoa, rice, mint. I grow mint here, so that's nice, and tomato. And again, when I have too many tomatoes or peppers, I dehydrate them. That's just what's left of the peppers, so maybe we'll put that in the spicy, the savory one. Actually, these are mushrooms in here. Yeah, these are my dried tomatoes in here. So just throw anything in. And can you imagine that over the course of the weekend, I will make batches of these and just make the dough so that when I'm ready to actually cook them, I can just pull out whatever I fancy. Or, I can take a few of each, a little bit of each, maybe a scoop of each or 2 scoops, and then make the crackers. Now, I just want to clear some space here, guys. Another thing that I wanted to just remind you about, if you're trying to, I dehydrate a lot of my stuff in my window here, which gets a lot of sun. All I do is, for example, this was mint. I just put it in the blender until I got it all pulverized, and it was green and fresh. And then I just put a piece of paper towel over the top, and then the top of the ring of the mason jar, and just left it. And as you can see, it just dehydrated the powder beautifully. So now that's mint in there. I obviously need enough room to be able to cook here for you. That was not a good idea. Made a big mistake. How many of you, when you're doing your Christmas baking, end up with molasses and wondering what to do with it? I know we're not ready for Christmas baking yet, but what I do is I freeze it in little containers. All right? And then during the year, I can just bring out a little container and add it here and there. You know, I like to use it with meat as well. It tastes great when I'm doing a pot roast or something. But we didn't need it today, so let's move these out of the way. All right, any ideas of what else you could have done as a cracker? Because I just showed you what I happen to have as thoughts. Oh. Now, nothing fancy here. I'm just going to take my crepe maker just because it's easy for you to see what's going on. And I've got, I cut out a barbecue mat to put on top of it because it makes cleanup so much easier. And let's get that first one out and see how we do. Now, you've got a choice of how to do this. My suggestion is do whatever you want to. In other words, when you get this out of the fridge, all right, you can roll it into, you know, you can just take a bit like this and just roll it into the sort of depth that you want. You would need more flour, apparently. Yeah, it's going to stick. Or you can just squidge it. Another well-known culinary term in my house. Okay, just like this. And that also works. Oh, I forgot. You're not cooking yet. Come back. I've got a bag of crumbs left over from some crackers. Why don't I just use those up at the same time? So what I'm going to do is take a ball like this, crush these crackers, And then that works. Getting more interesting all the time. Go for it. This has got some nuts in it. I see some cashews in here, some sunflower seeds. I think a little bit of coconut as well. Now you got to admit, this is not what you might call, you never thought of making your own crackers. You know something though, Sharon, here's the thing. The reason I like to make my own is so I know what's in them. As you know, I have an allergy to garlic and stuff. And by making my own, I'm also trying to have healthier ones. Little squidge required here. And so that's another reason why I'm doing it. So you understand, I'm just making it flat enough, and it's sticky, as we know. And then I'm just turning it over and patting it into the crumbs. Now, seriously, let's get creative. What else could we have rubbed it in, right? Other than, this is actually the ideal mixture. So don't throw away the bottom of your crackers if you've got that problem, because this really makes the perfect. Just perfect. I don't know why I never thought of that before. Crunchy and healthy, right? Because a lot of good seeds in there. And I've still got this much left. All right. So I'm just going to put that there and just roll this, because I don't want to make more than that today. Otherwise, I will eat more. That's another trick that I found. Try not to make more than you want to eat, because that's sort of meal prepping, but what do you call it? It's portioning. I'm thinking portion control. Yeah, thanks, Jody. I'm thinking there's so many things, you know, you could roll it in, like poppy seeds and, you know, whatever. So there we go. I've still got this much left for another day. And I'm just going to put it back into this bag and freeze it. Sharon's saying I have to be careful about my eating. I'm having some health issues. Nothing too serious, I hope. Sharon? Now, I have to say that what I've found is these are really great, because I made some earlier in the week. These are really great, if you've got some sour cream or something, to just dunk them in some sour cream. And very nice treat. All right, so there we go. That's the rest of it. And I've probably got 2 more helpings out of that. Not bad for 1 cup of stuff, right? All right, Sharon, keep us informed, please. And if you don't want to tell everybody, if you could keep me informed, and let me know if I can keep Jody informed, just because we like to pretend we care, Sharon. You know that. I said that to somebody this week. And it was somebody who didn't know me very well. And they sort of looked at me like, really? And luckily there was somebody there that knew me well, and they said yes, and she does a good job of it too, pretending that she does. Okay. So this one, it doesn't take very long, quite honestly, for these to brown up. The first ones that I did are just about ready. So, and I've got it at a pretty low heat. It's not, I haven't got it very hot, because I don't want them to burn. I just want the flour to cook. But that's doing a pretty good job. Now then, where am I going to put them? Good question. All right, any questions? And obviously, this is something you would just do maybe once a month, all right? And just meal prep as many as you want for the month, maybe freeze them, and just bring out just a little baggie with some in whenever you want them. Oh, yeah. This one's done. So that goes into the freezer. And then I'm going to bring out the second one and just start working with that. What did we say we would roll this in? Do you need to crisp them again after being in the freezer? I am inclined to. I let them thaw, and then I just would quickly warm them up again, and get that. I like them crispy. Good question. I like that. Thank you. What did we say we would roll this in? Oh, cheese. That's right. Yes. Good thinking. So we don't need very much. We need about this much. And the rest I will cut this up and freeze it in small portions. What did I do with the other one? Oh, there it is. Okay, and I've got some Katie shake here. And this is, your personal preference of how much cheese you like. This probably is a little bit overkill, but Never had too much cheese. And how many of you are now going, what about some bacon bits in there? So, yeah, I think it's a good idea too. Where are my bacon bits? Now that I'm doing it. How can you have cheese without bacon, right? Okay, some bacon bits going in. It's always a problem I have when people come to eat at my place and they really like the way something tastes and they go, "Why? What did you do?" And I'm going, "I can't remember." Because I'm always just doing this. Now I haven't got salt and pepper in here, except this has probably got quite a bit of sodium in it, I would think. Oh, that's good. You just see how much sodium is in here. Because cracked black pepper would go down well as well in any of these. 8% sodium. Anyway, it's going to taste good. That's what we want. Now, if you are somebody that likes perfectly shaped things, you obviously can take a cutter or something and just I personally think they're fun when they're not perfect, but story of my life, right? So these are a bit thicker than the other ones. But we've used up all the cheese, which is good. Yeah, so the idea was to have a round one. No, never mind. You guys know I'm not going to do that. You want two separate ones? That's good. Now, if you decide, okay, fine, what I'm going to do is to make a batch of them, it sort of stands to reason that you might want to pull out your pasta make. How many of you have got a pasta roller? Do you know what I mean? A pasta making thing. It's probably hidden away with your fondue pot. But it'd be a really good idea to just make up some dough and keep running it through there until you get it to the right consistency. And then you've got crackers forever. The other thing is you obviously could take them and shape them, and make them pretty, or not. Another thought that I had, I haven't done it, but it's another thought that I had. What about taking, hang on a second. What about taking an ice cube tray and then lining these and putting the dough in there and maybe a little something in the center, and then another layer of dough and making perfect little pockets. Cheese and bacon inside would be good, right? Again. So lots of sort of possibilities, I think. But understand that I didn't buy anything to do this. Right? These are crackers that I'm making out of leftovers in my kitchen. Chives, onion and garlic powder, wonderful if you can have it. I can't. But that's what I want you to do is, hi Kay, it's good to see you, by the way. That's exactly what I want you to do is to go, okay, what would I make? But basically, you understand, all I did was to take a flour, whether it's almond flour or rice flour or oat flour or 5-grain with almonds in it. Doesn't matter. All right. Just put it in your blender, pulverize it into a flour, and add an egg. And then just add as much flour as you need so that dough holds together. And then just add whatever you want to add to it. Not difficult. I can smell the cheese and bacon. That's not good. Well, it is good, but it's going to be very tasty. And when you think about, I've got some dried mushrooms here. I've got so much cranberry. I bought cranberry in bulk before the fire. I never got a chance to use it. And this isn't it. I've still got bags of the stuff. So I'm going to start making my own crackers, cranberry cinnamon type crackers, right? And I'll make a stack this weekend just to start using it up. But you can see how the possibilities are endless, really. It's just up to you what creative things you want to add. Just make the basic dough. And then when you go to do it, just add, you saw how I just put down some bits here and just pat it down to put it together. And again, remember, what you put in, you know what you put in, right? You know you haven't got any funny preservatives in there or anything weird. How many of you like that? The ingredients you put in there are the ones you know about. And to my mind, that in and of itself has got to be healthier. So I'm just going to let these finish. And then I'm going to show you how to make your own lip gloss. Now, I want to start talking about it just because that's going to take a while to cook. How many of you remember my story about my mascara? What I did was I had a mascara that was basically empty, I thought. Ever had that situation? Now, I know some of you are purists and you do not use your mascara for more than so many weeks or whatever. I am not that purist, right? And what I did was I thought to myself, in the old days, very old days, you used to be able to buy refills for your mascara. I wonder if anybody is old enough to remember those days. And I thought about that. And then I thought to myself, well, I'm pretty certain there's still mascara in there. It's just stuck to the inside of the mascara. So what I did was I bought myself some vegetable type glycerin, food grade. And all I did was I poured a little bit of glycerin drops. Let me show you how. this is called a pipette. It's a really cute name, isn't it? But I literally just took this and put some glycerine in here, and then drop by drop, put a little bit, maybe about 3 or 4 drops into my mascara. And then, just wiggled the wand around, didn't bring it all the way out to create a lot of air, but just, I wanted to mix it. I want to tell you something. I got a new mascara. And it appears to work. Now, what I did here was just as simple. Oh, yeah, that's going. Finish. All right, I just want to get this out of the way so we can play. How many of you have got one of these? Yes, Kez is saying that you could make them triangle shaped like they do for corn chips. Yes, and you know how they make the bugles? If you want to make the bugles, just take, you could actually just lay those bits of dough over, no, that won't do it. I'll tell you what would. Just lay your dough over something like this, all right? And then it will create the hollow underneath it. You understand what I'm saying, right? Just drop the dough over the top of this, and then when the dough dries, it will have that bugle shape. And then you can just warm them, cook them in the oven. Hope that makes sense. Do you have one of what, Jody? But I think that's a great idea. You see, the point I'm saying is that you can cut them any shape you want. You can make them really pretty with one of these on the edges, or not. It's up to you. I just need enough space so I can create some more. The whole point about this is I just want you to get away from you have to keep buy. 2 cups of flour, literally, I've got enough for, crackers for probably 2 weeks minimum. For the cost of a cup of flour. And as I said, you choose what sort of flour you want to start with. You can start with regular flour if you don't have a glycemic index problem. But if you do, then use the things like almond flour, or even oats is not a bad flour to use because it won't spike your blood sugar so much. All right, so here we go. Ever had this situation where you finish something, but you still got lipstick in the bottom? Can you see there's still some lipstick there? Right? Now, I think you all know I love these lip balms from Revlon, but anyway, but you see, I don't know if you can see, there's still lipstick in there. Now, I actually came across this idea because, I hate to waste that. And how many of you do say, okay, it's finished now and throw it? You'll be amazed how much is left. So what I started to do, just so that you know, I started to take a lip gloss brush and, feed that into here and then use that lipstick. And that worked really well. Then the obvious thing happened, which is my lip gloss. I used it all up and I went, wait a minute, that worked really well. So what if, you know me, always experimenting, what if I buy the lip gloss container like this? And by the way, it comes in with a whole lot of, it comes with its own syringe. Okay, so here we go. Here's another one. Okay, it's like this, with its brush. And it also comes with these little stopper things that the brush goes through. I'll put that in later. But it has a syringe, which I will find any minute now. Just be patient with me. All right, so this came... This came with 3 syringes, right? Well, that's awesome. And the syringes have got tops on them. These are heavy-duty syringes, so you can wash them easily. And this is what I did. I just want to make an orangey one to start with, all right? So here I got some lipstick that I haven't used for a while, but let's try it. And all I did is put some into the container. And like a lot of things in life, less is more. You don't need very much. Okay. How difficult was that? And then I'm just going to push it into the vial a little bit. And now I've got it all over the brush, which is a good thing. And I'm just going to coat the inside of the vial with it a little bit. Get the idea? I nearly used the wrong stuff. That would have been interesting. All right, and now I'm just going to take some glycerin. Quite honestly, I have never used this because I do it with my pipette, but let's see if I can use this. Okay, that was quite painless. And then we're going to put it in there. Put the wand back. Oh, no. Put the little doodad in. Okay, so that's just the little valve thing that goes in like that. Okay. So it'll stop it all falling out. And then all I do is I just mix it up. How many of you going, that's ridiculously simple, Sal? Okay, so this will take quite a bit of mixing over the next few days, but all I do is when I've made a new one like this, I will just keep it on my vanity and keep mixing it up every day, sort of as I use it. And as you can see, it's already taken the color off the wand, right? And let's just see. Yeah. Here we go. Here we go. Tastes good, by the way, without adding anything to it. All right, so just keep mixing it up until it's mixed, and then you've got yourself a new lip gloss. This is the one I made recently, and I love this. This is the base color that I had on. But you can see this is all mixed in now. And just so you can see it, it just has that, you know, darker tinge to it when you put it on your lips. And it's funny enough, it does a great job. It's surprising. So take that off. I find that quite often during the day, I don't want a heavy lipstick. I just want a tinted lip gloss. How many of you find that as well? I just want my lips to feel, and it's really, my lips feel great with it. Okay, now what's the next one we're going to do? We've done a orangey one, and I've got this one. Oh, I wanted to do this one. So this is the one where I've just got a little bit left in the bottom there. So I'm just going to do one more. It requires that I find the bits. Oh, yeah. You ever got an empty one? No. So again, just going to take the wand. Okay. And I'm going to dig out some of the lipstick balm that's in here. Apparently it goes all the way down. Now, I know what you're asking me, which is, Sal, what if you like, how many of you like glitter on your lip gloss? I haven't replaced it yet, but it was one of those things that I lost in the fire, is, you know, to get some mica. And that's what I've just ordered up, and I'll show you that when I get it. I will just add some mica to this. But get the cosmetic one rather than the other one. So, right, just a little bit of color in there. Using up Old Lips Balm. Stay when you're told. And let's take a fresh one of these. Actually, we don't really need to. That's gonna, oh yeah, we don't want to mess up the glycerin. That's one. Good idea. So, got more than I need. So I'm just going to put that in another bottle. Okay. Oh, forgot the bit that goes in next. Just put the valve in. Like that. Now, I'm pretty sure you've worked it out, then you can reuse these bottles as many times as you want to, or just have them once. I think I paid about $20 for all of these, maybe that, not more. And it came with the syringes. I'm not sure how much I paid for the glycerin, but maybe under 20. So you're going for $40. I can use up my old lipsticks. All right. And make probably enough lip gloss to keep me going for years. And although it needs a bit of mixing when you first do it, from my experience, once you're using it, and it automatically mixes it up quite a bit. And if you just keep lying it flat, all right, it just doesn't actually take very long. So but you get the idea. You can make them as dark or as light, or you can mix up your lipsticks and add different colors to them. Whatever you like. You can make them sparkly by adding a little bit of mica to them. And how many of you going, that's pretty easy and pretty cheap? And just using the leftover lipstick, I'm happy. I'm always looking for ways to help people save money if they want to. All right. Now, some of you are going, Sal, it's way too much trouble. I'd rather buy it. All right. Yeah, Duck, I'm throwing things at you. Right? Throwing things at myself, actually, Sharon. But it's like, it's not about the fact that I'm doing this because I can't afford to buy my own lip gloss. I can, but I know not everybody can these days. And what I'm looking for is how many ideas can I come up with that maybe will help at least one person. So if you are that one person, when you're watching this on the replay, and you're going, wow, I would never have thought to do that. And the other thing is, I like the idea that I'm not wasting lipstick anymore, and that I can, this is something else that I really liked. I can, you could use a mini. All right, tell me what that is. Oh, a mini size bottle? What a mini what? Because, or mini minor? Yeah, I could use a mini minor right now. No, I wouldn't be able to get into them anymore. Help me know, a mini what? And just so that you know, have a look at the bottle if you've got an applicator like this already, have a look to see if it's got this little rubber thing at the top. And if it has, you just need to pop that out and then put your own stuff in it. But your choice. How does it look? Okay, Kez, I need to know, a mini what? Can't handle it now. The suspense is killing me. Oh, yes, that's another thing you could do. Here's something else that you might, for those of you who like your lip gloss in a little pot, all right, a little jar, you can actually make it with a little bit of, put a little bit of coconut oil with it, and mix it all up. Although I would put this in a microwave for just a little while to liquefy it before I mixed it in with everything. But that's okay, kids. I got the idea. So then, for those of you who like to have it in a little jar and just put it on, how many of you put your lip gloss on with your finger? Yeah, a lip balm. If you want to make a lip balm, very easy to do. Very easy to do. And if you mix up a little bit of the coconut oil with a little bit of the glycerin, and then maybe a very small amount of old lipstick, and mix it all up together and pour it into an old lipstick tube, you play with it until it works. Then you've got yourself, a tinted lip balm if you want it. What I've noticed is that my lips are, I don't know why, maybe because of the glycerin, but I notice that my lips are feeling much softer. You know, they're not as dry, and it'd be interesting to see if that happens in the winter, whether it continues. My question is, from leftover lipsticks and the combination like this, how many different colors do you think I could come up with? All right. Yeah, it's just like, it is endless. So I'm going to try not to make too many. I basically want one darker one, or maybe two, one orangey one, one pink one. I'll probably add a bit more pink to this one. And then I would also do the same again, but with the glitter in it, so that I've got those options. And if your lip gloss has run out, but it still has some color in it, think about, what if I put a couple of drops of glycerine in there? By the way, Jody, you're pretty knowledgeable about these things. Glycerine is like a magic product, right? We can use it for moisturizing. We can use it, funny enough, in our cooking. I notice a lot of vegan people put glycerin in their food for cooking. I'm not sure why. You probably would know. But, it is a product that has a lot of uses. Now, want to know another little tip? Oh, I nearly lost all the... that was fun. Obviously, I got to find a different container for this. Hold on 1 second, people, before I lose all the little... No, that's not what I want. The small one. Hold on a second. There we go. That will contain them better than the one it was in. So I just thought that was amazing, and again, how many of you are going, some of my friends are going to end up with lip gloss in their Christmas bag this year? Right? And just literally like a selection like this, and there you go. What was I saying to you? Oh, yes, here's the other thing. How many of you have tried... Hi, Isabel. Oh, Isabel, we started off by making our own crackers, and then we've just been making our own lip gloss. So good to see you, and thank you for taking the time. Always a pleasure to see you. All right, here's something else that I worked out. I know this is going to blow your mind. How many of you spend $5 to $10 a month or every other month on deodorant? My experience is it doesn't last very long. And different people like different sorts of deodorant, right? Some of you like a gel, some of you like a liquid, and some of you like like a more a wax type thing. And I started to think about, I really like the liquid one. And as some of you know, a couple of months ago, I actually showed you a recipe for making your own deodorant. I bought the roll-on bottles, and now I found out something even easier. How many of you realize that hand sanitizer is one heck of a deodorant? The only thing is, don't apply it if you shave your armpits, right? You can apply it, but not the day that you shave your armpits, right? Because it's going to be like astringent. Ah, yes, Isabel's saying, I like deodorants that don't stain. Yeah, that's the, hang on a second. What do they put in that stains your clothes white? That's what I found anyway. Just so you know, I decided, what if I put hand sanitizer, which is, and I mix it with aloe, which I think hand sanitizer probably has in it anyway. But I just put equal amounts of aloe gel and hand sanitizer and a couple of drops of rose essence, shook it up and went, okay, fine, let's see how that works. Surprising. Again, think about if it works for you, and what is the test? Can I smell my armpits? And if the answer is no, and I'm not sweating, then it is working. Now, what does it have in it to stop the sweating? Well, do a bit of research on that. I don't, to me, I don't find I sweat a lot using that. But maybe at my age, I don't sweat a lot anyway. But it's a thought that I wanted to share with you because, have a look at it and at least look at some of the recipes and say, hey, do I want to do that for myself? Now what I've got is quite a lot of these roll-on bottles, deodorant type bottles. And I'm going, what else can I put in them? Jody, the stuff we put on for the rheumatoid arthritis, the gel stuff. It's the aluminum that leaves the white stain. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Jody. Jody, the blue gel that we put on to stop the pain of arthritis. I've got that in one of those bottles now. I buy it in a tub, huck it into the roll-on thing, and now it best of both worlds. Kez is saying you might know this, but pumping lip gloss mascara wands up and down is not good. Yes, it puts air into them. And produces bacteria. What I've got to say, Kez, and you'll forgive me if I may, just say this. And I agree with you, and that's why I said to you, when you're mixing it up, don't pull it out very far. Just do this, right? You don't want to pull it all the way out and then pump all the air back in. Just do it gently. And quite honestly, most of the mixing I do once I've got it partially mixed, I just keep rolling it. I just put it and roll it every now and then so that I'm not pumping it. But I want to tell you something, having been in marketing in my life, and forgive me for this. I listen to these things and I hear them. I hear that you should not use your mascara wand for more than so many months. With all due respect, I'm not saying that somebody hasn't had an eye infection from overusing their mascara wand or whatever. But you do know that this is all part of the marketing to make sure you buy a new one. I was part of a marketing group, and one of the things that we were discussing was if you had Comet. I think everybody knows what Comet is, right? It's in England we call it Vim. Well, it's the same. I think you also get Vim here now. But anyway, it's like an abrasive powder that you could clean things with. And the marketing exercise was, if you wanted to sell 1/3 more a year of this product, how would you do it? Okay. And the answer we came up with? Make the holes 1/3 bigger. The holes they have in the top? Think about that. If the holes, all those holes, the 12 holes or whatever, were 1/3 bigger, you would use that much more, and therefore you would sell that much more. So sometimes you've got to be careful that these things that we get, how many of you know that a lot of the things we get fed as consumers has very little to do with reality? It has a lot to do with marketing. However, I realize that you are smart adults, and if you have a fear of bacteria, be careful. For example, if you remember what I said, is you might only want to use this twice. All right. I personally think you could, but I would use this twice before I threw it away. And by the way, it's not like I'm short of them. I might even just use it once and throw it away. You understand? So that's a personal choice. I had somebody tell me that before, which is, don't use your mascara for more than 2 months or something. And I'm going, you've got to be kidding. Why? Because you may get an eye infection. Yeah, I may. Okay, so what's that? If what has an off odor, the mascara? Yeah, you actually used to be in the business, Jody, so you would know a lot about this. But I don't know about you, but for a lot of people, if the choice is between extending the life of my one mascara, an extra month or so would make a lot of difference, then try glycerin. That's all I'm going to say. But you are smart enough. You are smart enough to know what you want to do. As far as I'm concerned, I'm just here saying, have you thought about it? And if you don't want to do it, that's fine. But if it would save you a couple of bucks this year, you might want to try it. The same thing as I would never have dreamt of making my own deodorant, quite honestly. But it's another one of those $5 a month type things, and that's what I'm looking at. What am I spending? And it's not that I don't want to spend that $5. I want to spend it elsewhere. Yes, Jody's saying that she uses her mascara well beyond the recommended 3-month mark if it still smells okay. Of course, it relies on the fact you have a sense of smell. How many of you use your milk past the date that it says on there? How many of you have used eggs beyond the date? And so be aware. How many of you keep your eggs and how many bad eggs have you had this year, people? How many eggs have you cracked and they've been not fresh? Eggs last a long time, and way longer than we think. And so again, marketing wise, it makes a really good idea to have a please use before date on it. Why? Because people will throw eggs away and then buy new ones. We were looking today, we were talking about, whether Hurricane Ida, for those of you who weren't there, whether that has taught you a lesson about being prepared for what now is global warming everywhere. And, it could get really difficult everywhere. And one of the things we discussed today was water. How long can you keep water in a jug? Now, what they were saying, if I got this right, Jody, correct me if I get it wrong, but if you buy your water in sealed bottles, be it the single ones or the big ones, if you buy it sealed, basically, Jody, I think I got this right, you could keep it indefinitely. That's probably got a best use by date on it, and you know why. If you take your tap water and put it into a gallon jug or something, Jody managed to research the fact that they recommend you use it within 3 months. Even that's pretty good, all right? And one of the things that we were talking about is you might want to have I need to repeat this because it's important. I found out this week that buying a gallon of milk was half the price of buying two quarts. Or yeah. So in other words, normally I would buy half this amount, but I found out the price for a full gallon was less than $1 more. That's insane saving, people. So one of the things I will be doing is saving water in my gallon jugs, rinsing them out properly, disinfecting them properly, drying them out properly, and then putting drinking water in them. And I keep my spare ones, in my guest bathroom just because I don't have that many guests coming. But it's like, think about where you're going to keep fresh water. Jodie's saying that she keeps 4 of these and rotates them all the time. So she's always using one for fresh water, and then she got into the habit of doing it, and then filling up the next one and putting it at the back of the. Did you say 4 gallons that you've got, Jodie? And really, what we're looking at now, if you think about it, that one hurricane just did so much damage all the way from the Gulf Coast all the way to New York. Uh, Anybody who doesn't believe in global warming perhaps needs to have a look at that. And the scary thing is, in my view, is how many people are going to get displaced that live on islands. It's going to be scary, I think, and maybe not in my lifetime, but it's starting now, because I think we've probably passed the point of no return at this point. And my heart goes out to everybody that is stuck in that part of the South, particularly with those those temperatures going on, with no high electricity and no way of keeping cool because your house is gone. It's pretty scary stuff, isn't it? So all I asked is, what lessons have you learned for your household? How's your emergency stock doing? One of the things I recommended is, and I'm going to repeat it because I think it's important for those who weren't there, is think about this. Have you checked, just by typing into Google, floodplain and then the name of your city, all right? And floodplain, Plain. In other words, your local city knows where, if you've got a lot of water coming, where that's going to go. They know that from doing the geology. Now, let me tell you something that came up at lunchtime. Kim was telling us that she actually did check hers some time ago and knew she was way off the floodplain. This recent flooding came within half a block of her house. Half a block. So my next question to everybody at lunchtime was, where are you keeping your emergency supplies? Please don't keep it in the garage. Unless you use your garage as a tornado type shelter, not your garage, your basement. Think about where you're going to keep it, or maybe have some at a higher level and some at a lower level, depending on how you use your house. But if you get a flash flood come through, the first place that's going to get deluged will be your basement. And so my suggestion is, keep some water. If you've got a 2-level house, keep some water upstairs. If you have a 1-level and the rising tide situation would force you into your attic, maybe keep water up in the attic. Think about that. Keep some canned food up there and the can opener, people. Just in case. And the question is, how much food do you need? All right. Because on average, it takes maybe up to 3 or 4 days for them to come and get to you and check if you're okay. It could take nearly a week for them to actually get the Cajun Navy. I've always think those people deserve a medal. I don't know who started that Cajun Navy thing. Do you all know what I'm talking about? And if you don't, just say no. I don't know, so that I can explain it. But those people, I have not seen them get any awards. But there's part of me that goes, we need to give these people more credit than they get. And they get the occasional mention. But ever since Katrina, every time there has been a major problem like this, these people come from all over the place, towing their boats with them, their inflatables and everything, and then get to work. Using their own personal inflatable, saving people. I don't know about you, but They wade in disgusting looking waters, and and you're going, how do they do that? But I bet you when it's all over, they feel good. What do you think? Can you imagine? Oh, well, I saved 100 people today. Hey, I saved 3 people today. Would be good, wouldn't it? Have any of you been horrified at the color of the water in the New York flooding? It's just like, that is just going to be solid mud when it dries off, and it's just like the amount of water that is now hitting New York and New Jersey again. You're going, yeah. Anybody who doesn't think we have climate warming, really have a look at this. And again, here's the other thing. In those areas, I'm thinking maybe Boston as well, going up the drag there. But all of that, they weren't built, the subways and things were not built to take storms like this. And so basically you're going to have to rebuild. You're going to have to relook in the very near future, relook at all these subterranean type means of moving people, and going, how do we protect them? Can you imagine being in the underground subway, whatever you call it, wherever you are, and having that amount of water come down the tunnel? What hope do you have? Ugh, it's like, I said at lunchtime, and I'm going to repeat it. It's like the US has had a year, hasn't it? Or 2 years. You're going, when you have become the drama of every newscast, and it's just like, I'm sorry, I don't mean to laugh. That's not what I want to do. But I keep going, haven't they had enough now? But it's like, every week it's something different. It's, we all struggled with the pandemic, but it's like, you get over the pandemic, and then you've got the Afghanistan situation, and then you've got this, and then you've got, I looked in, by the way, somebody said to me, the US didn't help the Brits get out. They just helped the Americans. And I'm going, when did the Brits get out? And it's amazing when the Brits stopped fighting in or being involved in Afghanistan. It was like a long time ago. Call me wrong, and I'm certain Jody will check that for me, but I think it was way back in like 2016 or something that the Brits actually stopped having their forces there. So anybody that was still there 6 years later, all right, that was not like they had to get all the troops out, because the troops weren't there anymore. And it's been a really difficult time. I heard, think this morning, that they're down to only about 100 US people that want to get out are left now. So they're getting them out. We will eventually hear how they did it. And I'm pretty sure it's not via the airport. I'm pretty sure they're taking them by land somehow. That's a pretty big border. And I am certain that an awful lot of the military people, the people that get their jollies out of doing stuff like Navy SEALs and things like that, I'm certain they're the ones that are in there incognito and quietly going, the secret knock on the door, whatever, going, okay, if you're ready, we're ready to take you now, and taking them out overland, be it into Pakistan or wherever. But they've halved that number. And remember, it was 250 a couple of days ago. It's down to, they reckon, no more than about 100 now, which is obviously 100 too many. And they're also getting women and children out that want to leave. The Brits came out in 2014. I was wrong by 2 years, but it's pretty good that I got that close. I'm happy with that. Yeah, I can handle it. That wasn't like way off, And so, you look at it and go, this has been an incredible time. And, it's sort of, I don't know about you, but I sit here and I look at my troubles and I think, I am not sitting in Afghanistan. Then that would be a trouble. With my big mouth and opinions, I wouldn't last very long. I was actually talking about it at my birthday party that my neighbor had for me. And I said, I keep thinking about the fact that I just wouldn't make it very long there. So, it's just like, yeah, Sharon saying that she wouldn't last long either. But, look at it and think to yourself, really, we still got it pretty good. Big time. Whatever your problems are, you've still got it pretty good. Oh, by the way, again, for those that weren't here at lunchtime, I do want to just update you. Our Erin is not doing too well. They've luckily found out she doesn't have cancer, which was her concern, that she had kidney cancer. But she has got a situation that her kidneys are deteriorating, and she's, it's not looking good at the moment. She's having more tests done, but I just wanted to let you know. She gave me permission to share that information, by the way. So there we go. All right. So I hope you had fun today. I hope you realize that, hey, be creative about your leftovers. Something else? And this is just so you know how I do my dehydrated vegetables. What I do is when I get down, I use the carrot up until I get to this part. I cut off the end, but the very last sort of ½ inch, that is what I cut up and I dehydrate. So that, and it's wonderful for adding to, you're doing a pot roast or something. I just sprinkle gravy, whatever. All right. And I put it away now, but it is really interesting how much you can save if you want to. And the other thing is, how many of you cut the stalk off of broccoli? You just use the florets at the end. And what I found, just another thing, just think about it, you don't have to do it obviously, is I cut the stalk up into sort of slices about 1/8 of an inch. And then when I'm doing a stir fry or something, I, throw half a dozen of those in. And it works really well. If I'm doing, yes, Jody's saying I cut up the stalk, but I use it for soup. Exactly. Don't throw it away. I also have one bag in my freezer where I throw those odds and ends in. So, and I bring them out if I'm doing shepherd's pie. All right, I'll bring out a couple of cups full of that and then shred it and then put it in with my shepherd's pie so that, it all gets used in a good way. Sharon saying, I always buy a gallon of milk because it's less expensive. Yeah, that's what I couldn't believe this week. I don't know, it took me so long to realize that. I guess because I live on my own and I keep thinking a gallon of milk, I hate to waste it. But you know what I've started to do, Sharon, is I've started to use half a gallon and freeze half a gallon. And then I just bring out, as much as I need so that it doesn't go off that way. I wonder if that makes sense to anybody but me. And that way I'm not wasting it. But quite honestly, because it is such a saving to buy the gallon, even if you only use 3/4 in the time, it would still be worth it. You'd still save money, even if you had to throw it away. So think about that. All right, hope you had some fun. Hope you enjoyed it, and we will definitely keep doing these. If you do, I guess that some of you obviously do enjoy it, otherwise you wouldn't be here. I'm going to get some sour cream now and have some crackers. I'm also going to get some cream cheese. I think cream cheese would be nice on those savory ones. What do you think? Make a nice little snack. And And if they don't taste too good, I will let you know. I'll be honest about that on Sunday and let you know how they taste. So think about what we can do. All right. And I would suggest that we can use our food a lot more intelligently if we want to. If we want to. And the amount of food that we waste every year is horrific. And I quite honestly am getting to the stage where I am trying not to do shopping every week. I now have a dirty great freezer full of food and my fridge full of food. It is time for me to start using what I've got. Please remember to restock your pantry ready for the fall. I am pretty sure, whether we like it or not, there's going to be another wave of this pandemic. So remember, if you can, don't get everything. Don't get everything and put it in your storeroom. Think about the fact, if you didn't have electricity for a couple of days, what have you got in your pantry? All right. Have you got tin foods that you could use a can opener and eat? Have you got enough of the things that you enjoy? All right. I just bought 24 more rolls. I enjoy toilet paper. 24 more rolls of toilet paper. And literally, I want to be that far ahead of the game, at least. I still have not finished using up the paper towels that I bought last year. Yes, Jody's saying paper products are starting to be in short supply in some areas again. Please keep that in mind, all right? So think about the things that you use. I tried to buy more of something that I love called Marmite, and I can't get it locally anymore at the moment. I can get it out of England, but I can't get it locally at the moment. So I may have to go to another store and see if they've got old stock, in which case I will buy up quite a bit. Which I sometimes do anyway when I get that sort of situation going. Get the things in that make your life pleasurable. I would suggest, if you get cheese, think about getting cheese that is wrapped in wax. The little Baby Bell type ones. Good idea to have a few bags of that lying around. So that's inclined to last longer than cheese that is not wrapped in wax. And also, it's a small amount each time. So if you open one of those, you're likely to eat it. You're not wasting it. It's getting stale. Does that make sense? Think about what will last you. Yes, Sharon, that's what I was saying. The Cajun Navy came about after Katrina. They came into being during Katrina because people came from all over hauling their inflatables and said, "How can I help?" And then they called themselves the Cajun Navy. And at first they didn't want them to help, but then they realized the situation was so dire they needed their help. And now every emergency that there is like this, the Cajun Navy is there. I am certain the Cajun Navy was represented in New York and probably still are. I know they definitely were there in Louisiana because I saw them. But what a wonderful, I don't know about you, but what a wonderful thing to be part of. How about those guys that own restaurants that now have become full-time emergency kitchen people? All right, because there's so many disasters now that they literally know how to feed thousands of people a day. All right, and they are setting up like mash tents, but not for mash, but for feeding, making the food and putting them into individual containers and getting them to people that need them. I think that's wonderful. What a wonderful thing to do. And so, as usual, sometimes what happens when there is an emergency like this, it brings out the best in some people as much as it brings out the worst in others. Yeah, Kez is saying rescue workers who deal with floods around the world have to be extra brave, having to deal with all of the dangerous animals that get displaced from their homes and end up in the middle of large cities. Yes, a good thought, that, Kez. You think about all the wild animals that are in the wrong place. All right, especially if you're thinking Louisiana, how many, you know, chomping type things are now in the wrong place. Um, it's like the bayou isn't the bayou anymore. It's a lake. And so you got to think about that. But it's also, I don't know about you, but let's be aware that there are going to be an awful lot of displaced dogs and cats that they're going to find, that they might not be able to find their homes again. And, that's something we also need to be aware of. So if you have room for, you're allowed to have an extra pet, you might want to consider it. We can do our best, right? All right, everybody, have a super weekend. And remember that when all this is going on, we're still dealing with a pandemic. Please be very careful. Please be very, very careful. It's like there are so many things going on. Let's not forget what we're trying to do, which is to stay safe. Look after one another, but please, 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 I beg you, look after yourself and your family and keep safe and keep prepared and expect. Somebody was surprised at the lunchtime broadcast that they thought that both Amazon and Walmart were price gouging, and I had to explain to them I've been saying it for 6 months, that the prices would start escalating as we got farther and farther into this. Why? The cost, products are in short supply. They've got shipping problems. Expect now that we've had Hurricane Ida, expect there to be a fuel shortage everywhere, not just in your town, but everywhere, because they're going to have to pull fuel from other places to be able to supply all those people that haven't got any fuel left. Think about that. Know that means that all shipping will go up. Or Amazon is bound to go up in price. Everything gets, comes with cars and trucks and goodness knows what else. Therefore, everything will end up being more expensive. Not just from Amazon, but the price at which Amazon gets it is going to go up, and they will have to pass that on. It's not that they're price gouging. It is because that is what inflation is doing to us. Be prepared. Don't get angry. It is what it is. Save a couple of bucks here so you've got a couple more bucks to put in your gas tank. That's the way I look at it. This is Dear Mama Sal saying, we can do this. We're survivors, all right? We are still in the top 5% in the world, people. Let's forget that. We think we got it hard. Really, we're still in the top 5% in the world. This is Dear Mama Sal. Very grateful to be alive. Let's hope that we're all still here talking about these things a year from now. Have a wonderful weekend, and we'll see you on Sunday. Bye-bye for now. Thanks, Jody.